Do it, do it.
Hi, everybody. I'm here with Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. Hey, Sherry.
Hello, hello.
So it is freezing cold in Northern California. I was just telling her
It's
Costco just struck. It's 11 a.m. here, and it was freezing. This is the kind of weather that when you have cases of water or soda, you don't have to bring it in the house. You leave it outside and it gets nice and cold.
it sure does.
Reminds me of my ex-husband. Back in the day, we'd go to a cabin up in Markleyville. And it was a cabin with an outhouse. And of course, they were all drunk and nobody would walk with me to the outhouse. I was scared to death. But one of the
Oh
things they
my
would do
goodness.
is put their beer in that river and
Oh
it was
yeah.
ice cold.
Oh yeah. I can remember in my younger days when we'd go visit relatives out in the country. That's where my cousins and stuff would keep their stash. They'd go stick it in the creek out back in the backwoods, and a nice cold beer when they wanted one.
Yeah.
And mama never knew. So
And they used to, in the middle of the night, they would do crawdad fishing, like bring up but I never could eat crawdad. I could never understand how you eat it.
I don't care for crawfish at all. I know down here crawfish boils are real big and it's all to do with the spices and stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
like eating a shrimp, but
Yeah.
they're smaller. But the thing they do down here, which grosses me out, is they suck the heads.
That's what they showed you up here.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Like that.
it used to like I never liked it, so I never did it, but it didn't really bother me. But when I was pregnant with my son, I had gone to a crawfish boil that some friends were having, and some chick, I don't know who she was drunk as a skunk. She found out that people sucking the crawfish heads was making me nauseous. And so she proceeded to follow me around all night at the party, sucking on crawfish heads. And since then, I can't look at crawfish at all. It's like,
The
no.
most exotic thing I think I ever tasted was alligator tail.
Yeah.
It actually
Yeah.
wasn't
I
bad.
think, no, they have it. They serve it down here. Most of the restaurants offer it is either an appetizer or a side dish or something. You can get fried alligator, and it's okay, I guess. I'm not
Yeah,
crazy about it.
I haven't had it since the
So,
1980s.
and I'm picky with what food I eat.
Yeah.
I'm
So
a picky
listen, we
eater.
did a show yesterday, you guys, just 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I forgot I uploaded. I've done this before. I know Sterling, one of Sterling's shows, I go through the day, totally forgot to upload it onto my page. And I did it with this one. And I looked at our show real quick just to see what we had covered. And it was already
Of
outdated.
us watching TV.
Yeah, but it was already outdated.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Johnson had
Because
won, and there was a lot of things
well,
that it wasn't
technically
worth.
he lost, but then he went and did some backroom deals with a couple of them, and they changed
Well,
their
Elon
vote.
Musk did a
So
couple of backroom deals.
yeah, so somebody came up with money.
So, you said you got questions.
I did. It's the first time I've ever gotten questions when I've asked for them.
Cool.
Normally, I don't get any response at all. Um, let's see. One of them is, what's the real reason behind Mershon now sentencing Trump on the 10th? And how does it connect to the January 6th electors?
It doesn't connect to the electors, but the reason he's doing it now is because the district attorney and other people have told him, this man went through a trial and jurors found him guilty. You cannot
Yeah,
just say, oh, well. But Trump is
exactly.
so bent out of shape. The Supreme Court says, no, they don't.
Yeah, but the charges didn't occur when he was president. So it doesn't fall under the presidential immunity.
Right.
They occurred when he was just a civilian or
But do you
running for
feel
president.
like he'll
So
go to the Supreme Court and try to put a stay on it?
I think he'll try.
Yeah.
I really do. I think he's going to try. I I
I'm
Part of
almost
me
feeling
wants to
like you're
say
saying,
no, they're
dude, this
not going to
doesn't have
go
any,
for it,
this is
but
not applicable to what you were doing when you were president.
yeah. And I think I keep getting the feeling that Chief Justice Roberts is in like CYA mode, cover your backside.
Yeah.
Um, because I think he's starting to realize his legacy is going to be dirt
Well, he's
beneath
trying to,
dirt.
I saw he put some
Yeah.
sort of a statement in with the Supreme Court talking about how great they are.
Yeah, it's like he blows hot and cold so much, but it's like they've had so many really bad rulings this past few years that I think it's starting to click into him that he's ruining his own legacy.
Right. I
And
think
he's
what
going to
has it got, a
be a history,
26%
he's going to be a
approval?
joke in the history books. And so he's trying to make up for it. So,
Yeah, but the one thing when he's decided not to stop Obamacare, remember that big thing? And he was the one that said no, because what are you going to do with these millions of people with no care? You got nothing else in place. Very logical for him to do that. And
right.
people were so angry at him, but I thought at least he's thinking like a real justice.
Exactly. He was doing exactly what he should have been doing. And that was bringing the question back to, well, this is what the law states, and this is what you're trying to get done. And never the two shall meet. It's like he picks these oddball things that suddenly he'll get all traditional about, for the rule and how it's going to be. And then he'll turn around with the next case and just blow crap off. Just like,
Like the Roe
really?
versus Wade, that didn't make no damn sense.
Exactly. Exactly. The same with the immunity thing for the president. It's like, so what? You're going to claim now that a president can do whatever they want and they're not accountable to
Yeah.
everybody for their
Well,
actions?
they did say limited, but still. I'm going to
Well,
tell you that Supreme Court, the makeup it is now will change in the next few years. I
yeah, I have
definitely
been feeling
see,
that too.
I definitely see um, Thomas getting real sick or dying, but I see him going.
And Alito, I feel like he's going to go too soon. Well,
But
I
will
don't
they
know if,
put two cray crays in there if Trump's in office?
oh, if Trump's in office, oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah, they're going to try to. And then that'll keep their majority where it is. As long as none of the liberal justices get sick or have to step down.
Yeah, but also I'm almost feeling that when we go into the second year where it's going to be all blue, it's going to make it very difficult for them to put anybody in.
Yeah.
That's cray
And
cray.
Justice Stepford wife, what's her name? Amy Coney Barrett. Uh, she's really surprised me this past couple of years with some of her decisions where she's come down on the side of the liberal justices. It was like, okay,
Thinking
does
more
she not check
logical.
in with her husband to see what he said first? But
Yeah, but she's still breaking the law by allowing his cases to come up that they're going to look
exactly.
at.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's like the right doesn't know what the left hand is doing. And so one's trying to appear really upstanding and we're upholding the law, we're preserving everything. And then the other hand does cockamamie stuff. And you're like, really?
Well, let me tell
Where's
you
your
that
brain?
2025, the year of the snake, there's going to be a
How
lot of,
fitting.
huh?
I said, how fitting.
Isn't it fitting? There's going to be a lot of turmoil. I feel
Mm,
he's going to immediately start with uh, getting alleged illegals, but they're going to accidentally get people who are totally innocent out at the same time. So I see a lot
yeah.
I see a lot of resistance.
And a lot of lawsuits.
Resistance. And I don't see the military going on his behalf, shooting citizens. I just don't see them doing it.
Mm-mm,
Could be wrong.
mm-mm. There may be some that will gladly follow him all the way down to hell, but I think there's more. I mean, most people who go into the military most people go in for the kind of the high ideal of protecting and serving their
Yeah, and
country.
you do it based on the Constitution, not based on the president.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And but there may be just enough of the others that are willing to compromise
Yeah.
that could make things difficult.
Well, the other thing is our economy is going to really suffer.
It's going
There's
to
going to be
tank
food
bad.
shortages and everything. I hate to say this out loud, but you guys, this is what needs to happen in order for the people to turn against them. And the other person I see him turning against midstream is Elon Musk. He'll blame him for everything.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I just did a show with Nate from the Third Wish, and sweet, sweet, sweet guy. I just love him to death. And we were talking about he did his predictions last week and posted them this week. And I was laughing. I said, I haven't done mine yet because I've never done it before. So it's like I'm not quite sure what to do. And so we were talking about something that he had predicted, and then boy, I got a download right in the middle of it. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. I said, I just got something. And he was like, well, share it. I said, okay.
There you go.
Um,
Get you a pad and start writing
I
down.
told him, I said, I'm gonna have to go back afterwards and re-listen to the show and write everything down that I said, because most of the time I don't remember after I say it. It's just gone, you know. But
Well,
I
the
was
good
talking
news is that
about,
this guy's
I
going to be
said
a
the
has,
biggest
Trump's
thing
going
I
to be a
saw
has-been.
was start stockpiling cash.
Yeah,
If you can start stashing cash, don't tell anybody you have it.
no.
Don't tell them where it's at because you don't want to get robbed. I said, but start, I said, get you some money put away so that if you need to put gas in your car or if you need milk and bread for your kids, you can go get it. Because if they jack around with the electronic systems, computer systems and stuff, we were talking about computers. I said, they very easily can shut down banks, shut down ATMs, and then what are you going to do? You don't have access to your money.
You know
And
who I feel is really going to get hit hard is Elon Musk.
mhm,
I think he's going to get
exactly,
blamed. Now, what was the other question?
exactly. Oh, let me see. Another question was, it says, since it seems on the surface that the GOP is trying to unify to avoid delays, do you see any delays in the future for Trump and the certification or inauguration?
Yes, on both. I don't see him. I don't. I see there's several people that he wants that aren't going to get certified.
Yeah, try this again. I did this last night. Let's see. Will Trump be inaugurated on January 20th? Oh, crap. It's going in circles.
Which means for you,
Which for me, that means there's no clear answer.
yeah, that's,
Everything's
you
still
know,
up in
like
the air.
yesterday when you and I were reading on Mike Johnson and I couldn't get a yes or a no. You just have to take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes it's up in the air. But let me tell you, Mike Johnson's not going to be, this is not going to be easy for him. He's not going to be able to get anything through. It's just
No,
one
not
fight
even.
after the other.
Exactly. He has definitely bitten off more than he could chew with this. And then the speech, did you see the speech that Jeffries gave after the it
Absolutely
was over?
fantastic. Did you see the speech Johnson gave?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
we
could call
got
it
rid of
that.
slavery. What? You're the one that started slavery. And we gave women
Thank you.
the right to vote. Like we're supposed to put that in the check mark. Oh, yeah, these people are great. Hello.
Yeah, while taking away their rights in the process
Yeah,
and scrubbing people from the voting list that are perfectly legitimate to vote.
yeah.
You
All that
know,
stuff's going to change. I'm sorry, we still got to go through a little heartache, but all that stuff's going to change.
it's going to be rough, y'all. I mean, not to, I know Nate and I were talking about uh seeing anything major coming up, and I told him, I said, The one thing I have gotten a hit on the last couple of weeks that keeps coming back to me is I see another pandemic coming, and it's
Yes,
going to be worse.
I hear China's already
It's
on lockdown.
yeah, yeah. That's what I told him. I said I think it's the bird flu or a variation of it. I said, but I said I feel like it's coming and it's going to be a lot worse. And now that we have
What's his
the
face?
orange potato in office, then you know, yeah, there's a
Is the
real
bird
good
flu
chance
as
it's going to
bad
be
as
worse.
COVID, or is it just hard on elderly and children?
Well, right now it hasn't. There's only been a few strains that have kind of hit people. There was H1N1, which I got. Um, I got it the week before we got our vaccines to get it inoculated. And it's the only time I've ever been so sick I thought I was going to die. I mean, I was I have most of a week that's gone. I have
What
no
was
memory.
your symptoms?
It was like having a severe case of the flu times 1,000. It was all of the flu symptoms, the body aches, the headaches, the fever, the nausea. I remember I was living in Phoenix at the time by myself. I didn't have any family out there with me at the time. And I was afraid to go sleep in the bedroom because I was afraid if I died in the bed, nobody would find me. And so I stayed in the living room, and like made myself a makeshift bed on the couch and left the patio door cracked open so my cat could get in and out. And I found out after the fact that one of my coworkers had at some point called me and told me, don't lock your door because I'm going to come by and check on you. And I worked for a medical testing lab at the time. And so she had all the phlebotomists were making like every couple of hours, somebody was coming by my apartment, coming in, checking on me. She's still breathing. Does the cat need food or water? No, he's good. And then they would leave and they
Wow.
would go report to the supervisor. And so when I got, it's like, oh my God, I said, I don't remember anybody coming over. She said, yeah, we had someone going like every couple of hours
How high
just to
was your
check on you.
fever?
When I went to the doctor, it was like 102, 102.4.6. It was pretty high. And my normal body temperature is usually at 97. 98.6 is a temperature for me. And so I had a really high fever. But I don't remember most of it. I was delusional most of the time, or just
Wow.
completely zonked. I mean, because everybody that came by the apartment to check on me were like, yeah, you were wasted. Like, and I just, they would like put a fresh bottle of water on the coffee table next to the sofa or something like that. I think a few brought juice over to me and stuff because I'd wake up and I'd find juice and I'd be like, I don't remember buying juice.
But did you eat anything or could you not eat?
I couldn't eat anything. I probably lost 15 pounds in a week.
What
That's
a diet.
between not eating and no fluids. It was the only plus sign of it.
How long did
And
it take you to recover?
about 2 weeks after I was sick, I mean, I missed like a week of work. And then the fever broke and I started feeling better and I went back to work. But it was a good 2 weeks or so afterwards that I was still just, it took everything I had just to get up and walk across the room. It was
Jesus,
bad.
terrible.
It was bad. Like I said, it's the only time I've ever been so sick that I was afraid I was going to die, in my sleep or something. And so I
Just
would sleep in the
terrible.
bedroom. Yeah. And I was like, okay, it's not cool not to have anybody out here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness.
But
So what other questions you get, babes?
let's see. Let's see. Will Social Security be cut?
No.
Yeah, I don't see that
They
happening.
may
I see
try,
them trying, but I don't see
but
them.
I see like
Same
they're
with
not gonna.
Medicare. I see them trying to mess with Medicare and
Don't
it
forget, Rand
doesn't.
Paul had the Senate vote if they could put the age up to 70. And it was 90 to 3.
Yeah,
90 said no.
yeah, absolutely. Because most of them know That's a death knell for him. If they vote to cut that, or somebody
He's
posted a
really, let me
meme.
tell you, when he won, Orange Crush won, or allegedly won, I was like telling my guys, wait a second, you guys are the same ones that gave me the go ahead to tell everybody about the COVID a year before it happened. Why would you tell me to tell everybody she's going to win? And what I heard was we need for his people to find out what a fraud he is. Not that they don't already suspect, but they're really going to get a taste. That's why those of us who are telling others, sort yourself out, get your
Yeah,
stuff in a row, maybe do a little garden. Most of
that's
them
what
will
I was
turn
saying.
vegetarians. Get cans of tuna if you can handle tuna, so you can have noodles. Get a lot of noodles and
You
tuna
can get like chicken meat and
and roast beef
beef and
even.
stuff in the cans. Yeah. Um, because I know that's what, when I was with Nate earlier, I said, I said the the hit I got when we were sitting there talking about it was stash cash. That's all I heard, was stash or cash.
And that's what I heard. I told
And
everybody, put some cash in your
and
safe.
I said, and while you're at it, I said, maybe stock up on a couple of packs of toilet paper or paper towels, because when COVID hit, what you couldn't buy or beg, borrow, or steal toilet paper from anybody.
I
There were
know
people
I
with
stood in
cases of
line
it in their house.
at
And
5 in the morning. I stood in line at Safeway before they opened just for toilet paper.
yeah, um, yeah, we did too. I mean, we went, I was using up all the Kleenex in the house because we ran out of toilet paper. All I had was Kleenex. Um, but that's what I was telling everybody earlier. The hit I got, I said, stash cash and stock up on things that are non-perishable, water,
You
um,
know what I made myself last
juice,
night? Black-eyed peas.
toilet paper, paper towels.
Soak some
There you go.
beans, put a little ham hock in it, black-eyed peas, a little cumin in it. Ooh, good.
Yep, there you go.
I
That'll
can live
do it.
without the fish part. I love fish, but I can live without it.
Right. I mean, growing up when I was little, my grandfather was a hunter, so we always had fresh game,
Yeah.
whether if it was venison or duck or pheasant or uh I don't know, you name it, he would go kill it. And he would go hunting all the time. I used to go with him when I was little bitty. I had my own rifle that I was in charge of. I had to clean it and oil it and everything. Saturdays we'd sit in there, watch cartoons, and he'd lay out all the rifles. And we'd have to clean them and oil them and then put them back together. And I had my own 22. And so I had to know how to do that. And I don't think I ever pulled the trigger on it. It never
Yeah.
had any
My dad
bullets in
made
it
us
anyway.
practice shooting, and those
And
rifles hurt. When you're young,
yeah,
those
you
rifles
bruise
hurt.
your
But listen,
and
I watched a show last night. I think it was on the History Channel, about World War II and about the Battle of the Bulge,
mhm.
which was Belgium, and the Nazis were all over it. And at one point in time, we were outmaneuvered by the Nazis. But at one point in time, rather than take prisoners of war, they shot 70 US soldiers, killed them right there on the spot. That pissed off the Americans so bad.
Oh yeah.
They went, I'll tell you, that's the one thing about America. Don't mess with us. Draw that line and watch what happens. Step over that line because I
Exactly.
guess we went cray cray.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
they said the one thing American soldiers did, they kept that rifle, which was their life force, in pristine condition.
yeah.
It
Both of my grandfathers fought in World War II.
uh,
My mother's biological dad, he was in the Navy. He was a Seabee in the Navy. He fought in the Pacific. And then her stepdad, my other granddaddy, he was in the army and he was in Europe and France and in all that area because he was a little Cajun guy. And
okay.
so they sent him thinking, oh, you can speak to the people. And it's like, yeah, no, it's two different languages.
Yeah.
Cajun French and French don't sound anything alike. But he fought both. And so he fought, in Europe, and came across some really pretty
Those poor
bad
guys
stuff
were
from what I
starving,
understood.
they were freezing cold. And you know what
Yeah,
they would do? They would take their rifles and put it like all standing up all together, and they'd pee on them to keep them warm
keep
enough
them.
so they could
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah. That's what they in Vietnam. That's what a lot of soldiers did with the rocket launchers that they had because they would get too hot, and if they ran out of usable water that they could use on it, they would pee on them. You know,
Oh my
bring
God.
to keep the launcher continuing to go.
Wow.
Um, I saw a documentary with that in it, where they were, I was like watching it at one point. I thought, what the hell are they doing with that rocket launcher?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then the
I know what.
narrator came on explaining what was going on. I was like,
Check
oh my
this out,
God.
girl. It was the Weather Channel. And let me tell you why the Weather Channel talked about it. Because it was really bad weather and it was how we got through that weather. Because finally the clouds dispersed for a minute and Eisenhower went in there with planes and they just boom, 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 boom. They shipped all the Nazis back. I love those World War II stories.
And that happened with a lot of stuff where the Allies, the US and the Allies were like, there's no way they're going to walk away from this, especially as a winner. And then suddenly the skies would clear, or this would
Yes.
happen, or that would happen, and they would just take care of business. It's like,
But it's just
bam.
amazing how strong the United States can be when we're working for the same energy, when we're wanting.
When 9/11 hit, I
I
mean,
know,
everybody, they didn't care who you were, who you worshiped, what color you were. There were people helping people across all walks of life,
but it made us furious.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like he
like, just
stepped
don't
up,
piss
like
us
Pearl
off.
Harbor. I wasn't born yet, but when that Pearl Harbor happened, my dad was a young kid. He couldn't wait till he was 18 to join the army. He couldn't
Yeah,
wait to fight. That's the collective consciousness of Americans back then.
yeah. And nowadays you've got so few that actually volunteer because it's an all volunteer, military. There's no draft or anything anymore. And so you get people who really, really want to be there most times, which is why they sign up, or they see it as a means to get an education because then they'll get, the GI Bill afterwards. Um, but it's like the majority of America doesn't even blink at it. They're not involved.
Yeah.
They may know a dozen people who've been in the military and don't even know it because they don't talk about it. I
I
mean,
think Putin's going to be gone sooner than later. I really do.
mm, I didn't think he'd last this long.
No, but
I
and
really
you heard
didn't.
about
I thought
Assad?
he'd
They're
be
saying he
gone.
was poisoned. They're not saying if he's alive or dead. They're saying, well, actually, they're saying he's still alive. Attempted poisoning, but he doesn't have long either.
No, no. Um, I have a feeling that Putin just decided, well, okay, you moved all your money over here, it's mine. Bye.
That's what he wants. That's what his fingers are itching.
Yeah.
So, what other question you got there, girlfriend?
Let me see. Why is Trump holding a rally on the 19th? What
Because
is
he's
the
going to show
plan
off and he
behind
wants the
this?
whole group. But the thing is, it's going to be embarrassing because he's not going to get a crowd like he wants. They're
Yeah.
having a march, I guess, pretty soon coming up. And he's trying to show up the march, like, look at everybody that loves me. But remember when he was in trouble with New York and he said, come and fight for me. And I think
And nobody showed up. Yeah.
5 or 6 people showed up at Mar-a-Lago and they wouldn't let them use the toilet. And then he was looking and he was in New York and he was looking for crowds. Nobody showed up.
When he was in office the first time, and of course, Ivanka and Jared, were there working in the White House, so they had their own Secret Service detail. They would not let the Secret Service come into their house to use the bathroom when they were on guard outside.
Wait,
The
this
Secret
is
Service had to make arrangements with neighbors to go use their bathroom. I'm like, now, how damn cold-blooded is that? You got these men and women standing out in all weather to protect you 24/7, but they're not good enough to come in and use your
this was at
toilet.
the White House or was this at
When they
Mar-a-Lago?
were living They lived in the same neighborhood that Obama and them lived in. They got a little house, when they moved to DC. I don't think they bought it. They probably just rented it, but
And he
they had a
probably didn't
house
pay the
there.
rent.
Probably not. But yeah, I read an article about it where several of the neighbors came forward to talk about, they just couldn't get over the fact that they wouldn't let their own Secret Service detail use the bathroom at their
And you
house
don't think the
because,
Secret Service talked amongst themselves about that?
oh, you better believe.
And then
I
whenever
don't
they
see any
went
of
with,
them jumping in front of a bullet to help either one of them. If
and
I'm not gonna
also
have to
when
go
they were,
pee in your toilet,
yeah, when they
then
were talking about, uh, when he went to golfing, he charged the taxpayers extra money for his Secret Service detail.
yeah, yeah, make them pay for their cart and all that stuff. Or whenever they traveled overseas, they would have to stay only in a Trump hotel. They weren't allowed to stay anywhere else.
Oh, that's like
Where they
Pence.
would
He made
be,
Pence go to Ireland to stay at his place for something that was happening someplace else. He had to drive a couple of hours.
yeah, and then would like triple, quadruple the price of the room
I know.
that they would have to pay. I mean, I work for the state. I know how tight they are when it comes to stuff like that. You have like, if you're in this state, well, they will allot you 90 to $120 per night per room, say.
Yeah.
And they were staying in rooms that were 4 or 5 times that much
Yeah.
and signing off on it, because it was,
I don't know if you've talked to any other psychic that has said this. I see Teslas, not only that one that was on fire in front of that Trump Tower, but I see Teslas being,
going down.
I see it not only going down, but destroyed.
Yeah, that would
A whole
surprise
bunch.
me.
And the other thing, unfortunately, I'm feeling nervous about, I could be wrong, hopefully I'm wrong. I see people being very angry at the contracts they're doing with the Indians. It's not even their fault. They're just looking for cheap labor and making them work, even though they don't want to stay there, and pay them less. And I see, red hats attacking them.
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
you
I'm
see that
surprised it
too?
hadn't happened already. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, so
no, I
people will
got
be
that.
curious about this.
I got that too, that they're, that I I I got that I don't know about a week ago, I guess, and I kept thinking, why are they attacking Indians? I don't get it. And then all the mess with the HB1 thing coming out. We have a lot of our students and faculty that are at school on an H1B visa,
Right.
for um and I mean they have to jump through all kinds of hoops just to get that. It's not cheap and it's not easy to
And
get
the
accepted.
government can, like I even have friends from the UK that came over on one of those. And as soon as he was locked in here, the guy that got him over here cut his wages.
Yeah,
And so what do you
yeah,
do about it?
exactly. I mean, if you want to stay here, then you kind of you're a long way from home. I mean, most of our students come from well-to-do families. I mean, they wouldn't be able to come to America to go to school if they didn't. But still, I mean, those kids scrambling for stipends for the master's or the PhD program so they can pay their own way. They get hooked up with different research projects and get paid a stipend. I mean, I've got grad students that make more money than I do per month on a stipend, and all they're doing is going to school. They
Wow.
don't even work a regular job, but they're working when they're not in a class, they're doing research and stuff. So
Yeah, but see
it's
the economy, and I don't want to scare you guys, but I've been saying this. The economy is really, it's not going to be as bad as 2008, but the
mm-mm.
economy is really going to struggle. And especially with those things he wants to put into place, which is going to be a blowout. By the way, he'll turn it around. He'll start off doing it. It's going to be such pushback. And then when he turns it around, he blames Elon.
Oh yeah, Elon's going to be the scapegoat. He's going to be the one that they all dump on, and most of the MAGA crowd are pretty much hating him right about now because of
right?
the H-1B visa program and stuff, and they're pissed
Because
at Trump
they
about
have
it.
Trump on video saying, I will get rid of that. Yes, I've used
Yeah.
it, but I promise you I'll get rid of it. And then
Oh,
he's
and I
talking about that.
I I saw students starting to panic over it. Oh my God, they're going to send me back home. And because there's a fair amount of students that when they get here, they don't want to go back home. They want to
Yeah,
stay here.
yeah.
And they do just about
Mm.
anything they have to do to make it so.
Have
Um,
you seen, I keep seeing more terrorist action here in the United States. Have you seen that too?
yes, yes. I'm surprised it hasn't already hit.
Well, it's hitting now,
We had the thing happened in New Orleans.
right?
Now, New Orleans is about 2.5 hours east of me. It's closer to the Mississippi state line, and
Yeah.
I'm closer to the Texas state line where I'm at. So, it's a good little clip across. And uh, but it was it yesterday, day before yesterday, at our local mall here in the evening time, all of a sudden, and I was on a show, and when I got off, my son came out. He was like, "Are you off air?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "They're going nuts at Acadiana Mall." He says, "They're evacuating people. There's cops everywhere. There's gunshots being fired. Nobody knows what's going on."
Where was
I
this
said,
again? The what ball?
"At the mall,
Oh
the
my,
Acadiana Mall, where that's our main mall here in town. It's about 5 miles from where I am, 5, 6 miles from where I live. I mean, if I go to the mall for something, that's the mall I'm going to.
right,
And there's another one on the other side of town, but I'm not driving all the hell of the way over there to go to the mall.
right.
And but yeah, I don't know. There were news organizations were catching people as they were running out of the building, saying there's people with guns and cops with guns, and oh my God, and they're like hauling ass. So I don't think anybody got seriously hurt. Maybe the gunman did, but I don't remember hearing that anybody got hurt. But people were freaked out about it. It was all in the news, and
We
um
didn't get it out
because
here.
about the time that my son told me, Heather, Indigo Jaguar, um, I get a text from her going, "Sherry, oh my God, what's going on? Are you safe?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And about that time my son came out. And so I'm looking at her and she's saying, "I said something about a terrorist attack in your town. Don't you live in this X town?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, and I look at my son and he's like, "Yeah." He says, "They're evacuating the mall. All hell's breaking loose." I was like, "Oh my
There's
God."
going to be more, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And see, I saw that from the very beginning when people were talking about, they were worried that when Kamala got in, that there would be attacks like January 6th,
And there would
um,
have too, by the way.
at the Capitol again. And I kept seeing, no, not there, but it's going to be all across the country,
Yeah.
different state capitals or different areas that are very high with uh tourism and stuff like that. I mean, with New Orleans, they had to cancel the Sugar Bowl and
Oh, that's
reschedule
huge
it.
too.
And yeah, so that's I mean, there were people from England that were killed in New Orleans
I
who
didn't
were
know
here.
that.
Yeah, there was I know one guy for sure from England. And because I interviewed his buddy that was with him. And then there was another guy that got killed. According to the interview that I saw, there were a couple of women walking down the street, and suddenly this guy like just bulldozes into him, throws his arms around them, throws him to the ground, and he got hit, not them.
Okay.
So I mean, he saved their life. And
But did he get killed?
I don't know if he got killed or not. And it's kind of sketchy at that point because they didn't know what happened to him, you know. At that point, people were running for cover. They didn't know what the hell was going on, you know,
Well, what's interesting is
from what I've
the
seen.
man with the Tesla and this other guy were Trumpsters.
Yeah. That's what I don't understand. It's like,
No, they're
and
mad at him.
all this anger since November 5th. And I keep saying, why are they so angry? They won everything. Yeah, they cheated. We know that, but still, they won everything. Why are they so angry? You know, why are they acting like they've lost it all and we're going to walk in and take control any minute?
Right. And let
And
me tell you, when he pardons the people that are in jail right now, I don't see him pardoning the January 6 people that actually hurt police officers.
I've heard a couple of other readers say that as well, that they see him pardoning those that just kind of walked through and they just got tagged because they turned on their cell phones like smart people do and took pictures. Well, the cell tower puts you like GPS location. They knew
But
where you were
you
in that
committed
building.
something by going trespassing. That's what happened.
Yeah, the minute you walked in that building, you were breaking the law. Um, but don't I haven't gotten a hit on that yet. And I tried reading on it the other night and I was getting like weird answers. It was all over the place. And I kept saying, okay, this isn't making any sense. Um, but a couple of other readers that I've read with have both said that they see it that it could get bad. But I mean, I before I saw, a couple of skirmishes, but I thought that was going to be because Kamala won. And I was seeing, people making
Trouble.
attempts at local
Yeah.
state houses or popular uh I'm going blank on my I never go blank talking about crap till I get on air. And then my brain goes blank. Tourist locations, things that you
Yeah.
get a lot of tourism at. It's like, just like what they did to, was it Taylor Swift, I think it was, or it was either Taylor Swift or it was, oh, what's that other little girl? She's from South Florida, a Hispanic girl. I can't think of her name.
Selena
She's in the
Gomez
movie.
or something.
No, she's in the movie Wicked now.
Oh, I know
Ariana
who you're talking
Grande.
about.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
Um, they both had threats of terrorism at one of their concerts. Now, at Ariana Grande's, I think it was in England, there were people hurt because somebody set off a bomb, like a homemade bomb,
Oh, I
in a
think I
lobby
saw that on the
area.
news. Yeah.
And then Taylor Swift was, I want to say England, maybe it's Scotland, but I want to say England. And there was like a really bad, serious bomb threat, and they had to shut down the venue and they found explosives and stuff. I don't know if they ever found the person who set them, but she got so upset that she finished the rest of her tour in that country for that time, to give them time to go through all the different places, because she wanted to make sure that she didn't want any of her fans to get hurt.
Yeah. She's going to take a break this year. She just got
Yeah,
done touring. I see her
I
really,
think she's going to get married.
I think she's going to get married, maybe even pregnant.
That's very true too, because I
I,
keep seeing cribs around her.
I feel like she's really going to get settled in.
Because I know everything I've read, and I haven't done a lot of reading on her, but I mean, I like her music. I watch her videos.
I know,
Um,
I don't
but
know even what she sings, but I like her because she's really good to people.
yeah, she is. She's real good to people. And she this football player guy, man, it's according to friends and family, is like this is the one.
Yeah,
Like,
she got young girls interested in football.
oh, she's got a million people that are now suddenly watching football or
But
going to games.
they are rival, the Kansas City for the 49ers. They're a rival. And normally I hate rival teams, but I don't hate them because they have Taylor Swift.
And she's really good to her people. I mean, she's very fair-minded. From everything I've read about her, she treats the people that work for her really well. She gives like really good bonuses and all
Yes,
kinds of
and
stuff.
she gives to the homeless wherever she goes.
That's it. Every location she performs at, she finds out the local like bread line, soup kitchens, and shelters and stuff, and she'll go give just tons of
It's
money.
going to be, you guys, I'm so sorry to tell you this, and maybe I'll do a deep dive later, but it's going to be really tough coming up. It's going to be tough. I
Yeah.
felt Trump screaming, and unable to move forward, and everybody fighting him on all ends. He's just going to be, that's probably what happens is he strokes out because he's just not getting what he wants. Mike Johnson is going to be like a whip
For
puppy.
entertainment purposes only, YouTube.
Yeah. Mike Johnson's going to be like a poor little whip puppy.
I'm telling you,
He won't know
same
if
with
he's
JD
coming or
Vance.
going.
Yeah. Um, I know I've told several people this when I've gotten readings on it and stuff. I keep telling them stash money, get yourself a little nest egg,
Poor people. A
add
lot of
to
people
it
don't
every
even have the
payday.
extra money to stash, you know?
No, I mean, but if you can stash $5 here, $5 there, eventually it adds up to maybe a couple of $100 that put gas in your car or
Yeah, when things go
buy
down.
milk and bread for your kids, whatever. Um,
So let's touch on
but
the other subject. If you can feel it, I feel it big time. Weather changes. I still see a lot of Armageddon weather changes.
oh, that's gonna get bad.
And then you got
I
this
thought
weather denier in office.
I thought that this past hurricane season, I really thought we were gonna have a Cat 6, the first one, because it got so bad, those first two storms that got into the Gulf. And then they didn't get that bad. They kind of weakened at the last minute. I mean, I grew up on the Gulf Coast. I have been through numerous Category 5 hurricanes. We never left. We always just battened down the hatches and rode it out. Mainly because we had nowhere to go. Didn't have the money, we didn't have
Right.
the means. And that's why a lot of people don't leave, is because they don't have the means to leave, or they won't leave their pets behind. Because it's like, if we had to evacuate, well, I'm sorry, we got 2 dogs, a cat, a lizard coming with us, because they're not getting left behind. There's no way.
Yeah.
Um, those are our babies. I mean, we're all very attached to our animals here. But I'm really worried that the new hurricane season that's going to start up again in June, which is such a lovely birthday present for me. It's like, yeah, happy birthday. It's hurricane season. So, because my birthday's in June. And so I get a feeling if it's not this coming year, maybe the next. But
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
seeing a Cat 6
vibrationally,
coming.
we're switching right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling a Cat 6 coming. And when it does,
Is
wherever it makes landfall is going to be just
And I see bad
beyond
weather in
bleak.
the UK. I see a lot of storms. And listen, we just had a big tornado in Sacramento.
Yeah, we just had
Someone
some
took a
too.
picture of it, and it looked like one that you would have seen in Kansas.
Yeah, we've had some of that too. The past week, I think it was, we had a couple of tornado touchdowns in some of the outskirts, where
Right.
some of the farm
I
stuff
see a
out.
lot of land, where the land starts dropping, and there's been a lot of that. And by the way, pretty good sized volcano coming up down in the southern tip of Africa.
Now, you're the second person who told me they saw volcanoes coming up out of the ocean.
Yep. There's
And
one coming out near California too. There's one coming out near California.
I can't
Let me
remember
tell you,
now
it's
who it
like you
was.
guys, we're over here worried about Trump. He'll just pack his stuff and go hide someplace. But I'm not
Yeah.
just saying just the US, I'm seeing the world. It's going
Yeah,
to be a
yeah.
lot of batten down the hatch.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, every year it gets colder in the winter. I mean, we're getting the kind of cold winters that we don't normally get down here, you know. Um, or if we do, maybe 2 or 3 days out of the whole year,
Yeah.
it'll drop below freezing, but not for months. That's just unheard of down here. Just we're too warm of a climate.
Yeah.
But that's changing.
How about your
The
humidity?
rain is getting more, and so we're having more flooding issues because most of Louisiana is either at sea level or below sea level. The closer you get to the ocean, the lower the sea level is for you. Like New Orleans is in a bowl.
Yeah.
It's below sea level and it's surrounded by a lake, a river, and the ocean. Where's that water going to go? It's going to go into New Orleans, which is what happened in Katrina, and because the levees broke.
Right.
Because
Now, what
Katrina
about
actually
humidity
hit
in
Mississippi, but
Louisiana?
didn't hit. I'm sorry, say again.
What about humidity in Louisiana?
It it normal humidity day for us is probably in the 70s, 70%, and uh I know when I was in Arizona and people would gripe about 15% humidity and I would just laugh at them and go, yeah, right. That's really tough.
Well,
Got
I
to
was
go
born
back to
in
where I'm
Georgia.
from. And exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's like walking out into a steam bath, in the
Well, let
summertime.
me tell you that
And
the most humidity I ever experienced was in Edinburgh, Scotland. It was 70 degrees
really,
outside, but the humidity was so bad you could hardly breathe. It was so bad.
oh wow.
I made my
Well, now it
boyfriend
gets
buy a
like that here
fan.
sometimes. It's like you're trying to breathe water. The air is so dense.
Yeah,
Um, but that's usually whenever it's storming or something, the humidity and it's warm, the humidity levels go up.
right.
I know I had a weather alert this morning. We're supposed to have a really bad storm come through either tonight or tomorrow, and then Arctic cold for the work week starting on Monday. And I'm like,
Does
oh,
that
great.
mean power
The
outages?
week we go back to work, it's going to be an Arctic cold. Some places will, yeah. Now, fortunately, Louisiana is hooked into the national grid.
Oh, good.
So if we have stuff go out, we've got, phone call away and boom, we're back up and running again. But Texas, I feel sorry for Texas because they're all privatized. And
I
when they
know.
had when they had that last big freeze down there and they got all that FEMA money and everything come in to help them, they were it was supposed to go to um rebuilding their grids and bringing everything up to speed so it doesn't happen again. That didn't happen. They pocketed most of that
Oh,
money.
they're so low rent. I can't wait till Texas finally burns up all that ugliness, not literally,
Oh, I know. I
guys,
mean,
just
I lived
as I'm
in I
asking the
lived
guides as we're talking, do you have any good news? And they said to me while you were talking that man will get closer together. Like we'll all, even if
yeah.
all we can do is pray for others, it's like we won't want to see this ugliness. People will reject the ugliness.
And that's already happening. And I mean, I'm already even people that politically are on the opposite side of the aisle as me, and they'll be like, why can't we just get along?
There
I'm
you
like,
go.
yeah, I said, exactly, but it's like I said, I see another pandemic coming,
Another
and
what?
it's pandemic coming,
Jesus.
and it's gonna make COVID look like tiddlywinks. It's gonna be
Yeah,
really
well, I
bad.
heard that China's already shutting down, but
Yeah.
this is hearsay. I can't prove it to you beyond somebody
Yeah,
said,
I can't find anything saying that that's what's going to happen, but
yeah.
um, that's what I keep getting
So every
every
time
time
this
I,
guy goes into office, he brings a pandemic. What does that tell you?
yeah, a harbinger of death. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I mean, hopefully, maybe this time around, there will be enough things that have been put back into place that we're maybe able to deal with it quicker. Um, I hope I don't see that happening though, but it's like, okay, there's free will. Anything can change. It could change to that tomorrow, you know. So yeah, I worry. I worry with the weather. I mean, the summers are getting ungodly hot
Terrible.
down here. I mean, I've lived in the desert when I lived in Phoenix for 10 years, and I thought that was hot. But this past summer down here was just merciless. It was
And then you
so
got
hot.
these poor families cannot afford any kind of air conditioning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Little
You know,
babies.
or they might have one little cheapy window unit that they put in the bedroom at night. So that, and then everybody sleeps in the same bedroom so they can
Yeah.
actually get sleep. Um, I mean, yeah, when it gets that kind of hot, if you've never experienced it or lived anywhere where it's like that, you literally can't catch your breath.
Right. Well, I
It
stepped outside in Phoenix from the Phoenix airport to get on the shuttle to go to get the car. They don't have that anymore. Now you can take a tram. I stepped outside. It was 118 degrees.
hmm
And it was like someone just put my head in an oven.
Yeah. When
It
I
took
first
me,
moved
it
there
was like, whoa.
that first summer I moved to Phoenix, I was like, holy crap. I didn't think it could get this hot. And it's getting a lot hotter there now than it
It
was
was a
then.
dry heat. But when we took the shuttle, that guy had that air conditioning unit blasting, full blast, and it didn't touch us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was, I know this past summer, it got so hot here. My power bill was like ranging between 160 and $200 a month. I haven't paid a power bill that high in decades. I mean, mostly our power bill ranges around the 120, 130 range.
Mhm.
And that's because I've got three gamers in the house, me doing the YouTube stuff, my son doing all of his mixing and recording and music and all that stuff. And my brother does teaching because he also teaches some online classes. Um, and then my nephew lives on the computer all the time. Um, so you would think with all the electricity that we use, we would have a high bill year round, but we don't. I mean, our average bill usually runs between 115 and maybe
Good.
130 at the
It's
highest.
definitely more expensive here.
And but this past summer, I was looking at $200 power bills. I was like, holy crap. And it's still hot as hell inside.
Yeah.
And it's just but the weather's gonna get crazier and
Oh,
crazier.
yeah. Yep.
Like I said, I thought it was gonna happen this past hurricane season and it didn't. Almost, but it didn't.
Almost like it was
Eh,
interrupted by a force much greater.
exactly.
Remember how it would
Exactly.
change the direction?
Yeah, it changed direction and it dropped down a couple of categories at the last minute.
Yeah.
And because if it had hit where it was supposed to hit at the strength that they said it was going to hit, that would have been a whole different ball game
Yeah.
for that part of Florida.
Right.
Um, Teacher Barbara would no longer be with us probably
Yeah.
because she was like bullseye, dead center where she lived, where it was going in. Because a bunch of us were telling her, "Get the hell out, get out now." So I know she lost, I think, part of her roof. They lost part of their roof. Um, but I mean, I've been on the Gulf Coast my whole life except for 10 years in Phoenix, and you kind of get used to it when you live down here. You're like, yeah, okay, another hurricane, whatever. And you prep for it. But this past year was the first year where I seriously considered if it's heading right at us, I'm leaving. I'm not
Packing your
gonna
stuff
stay
and
around.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know was it year before last when Lake Charles got hit real bad. And one of my cousins lives in his mama's house that he inherited after she passed. He wound up with a tree in the middle of his living room. It just got deposited,
Yeah.
and it took forever to get it fixed, because it happened during Trump's first thing, and the FEMA was not.
No,
He had to fight with FEMA to get them to come and do what they were supposed to come and do.
yeah, that's unfortunate. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
give anybody any money, but he's the first one
Mm-mm.
standing in line. Well,
Exactly.
girlfriend, we've already gone past an hour.
I'm just looking at the clock going, damn, we went over an hour.
Yeah, I normally
Linda's
don't
going to
go
be
that.
tired.
Yeah. So we love you all. What's coming up with you, Sherry?
I'm doing a show with Adam Free this afternoon. He's an
Okay.
astrologer.
Oh,
And
I'll watch that.
and then of course Saturday nights is a slumber party. I do that every Saturday night. Starting a new time this week at 10 p.m. Central. So
Okay.
that would be 8 p.m. for you. And it's naughty or nice, anything goes. So they either get a naughty card like from the Rebel deck or something, or they
Yeah.
get an Oracle card. It's just like a one card pool. And that's always fun. We have fun for the slumber party. And
And
that's
to
an
get a
anything
hold of you
goes.
for a reading, they go to swamp
Swamp Voices, all one word, at gmail.com.
gmail.com. Okay.
Yep.
That
And
was
just
fun.
check my channel. All that information is there.
Yeah.
So I got
Thank
everything
you.
listed.
Now this time I'll load
Thank you. This time we'll get it loaded up and put up. So,
All
oh
right,
my
guys.
goodness.
Thank you.